Welcome, everybody. It is the final day of the regular season here at the NLC. We have 4 matches left to go. My name is Scoundrel. On the desk with me will be Jamada and Trouble. And of course, I'm going to say thank you to our sponsors, MasterCard, Telia, and El Gigantum. Obviously, you guys can get involved at home. This is the last day of the regular season, but we still have our playoffs. So there's still plenty of chances week 5 and week 6 to get involved too. And also week 7, which will be our finals week. Loads of RP to give away. Go over to our social channels, NLC LOL. You will find them on any of the social channels that you prefer. Even if it is a bird-orientated social channel, I would definitely recommend typing in NLC LOL and go and have a look at where all of our giveaways are going on. Now, let's talk a little bit about the standings, guys, because this is our final day. There are still some things that can happen. There are some things that are set in stone. And unfortunately, with the loss yesterday, it does mean that Dusty are down at 3-7 and they cannot escape relegation.
Yep, and I'm just going to take it from all the negative Scoundrel all the way up to the positive BTXL. Even though Fnatic is always their nemesis, they'll always get them right at the very end. I've got so much faith for this team. BTXL this year, this season, this split looks like a completely different beast, and it shows on the win-loss right now. 8-1. The only team that was ever able to grab a win off of them was the one right underneath them, and that's not a thing.
Now, the main thing that happens in this group today will be the Godsent BTXL match. If Godsent win, they guarantee themselves that slot in playoffs. We have our 4 teams locked in, and Granite will get beaten to the post. If Godsent lose, I need to double check. I don't know if there's a head-to-head or a tiebreaker, but I believe there'll be one of those situations where Godsent and Granite will have to duke it out for that final spot. But of course, BTXL, Nordavin, and Tricked are already locked for those playoff situations. Let's have a look over at Division B. And this is a little more clear-cut. Fnatic, Rising, Barrage, and Team Singularity absolutely 100% guaranteed here. Cova have also locked their 4th spot in. M&M are guaranteed relegations, and Riddle will be stuck at 5th. There are no major movements that can happen here except for within the actual 2nd and 3rd spots themselves.
Yeah, and yesterday in this group, it was just like upset after upset. Cova taking down Barrage, Fnatic losing out to Riddle. Fnatic could have yesterday secured their first spot, or Barrage rather could have actually pushed to potentially look for a potential tiebreaker looking forward to today, but they lost out to Cova after a really big lead, and Riddle made a really huge comeback as well. It was it was a nuts day yesterday.
Yeah, there is also a situation where if Fnatic somehow lose to M&M, which obviously is not 100% likely, but if they do lose to M&M, Barrage could technically win and then get a tiebreaker. Because they have that first win. They actually handed Fnatic one of their losses at the start of the season when they had that sub. Right. So we do have the potential of a tie at the top of the table. Again, still some things that can shift around here. Specifically, Group A, we are looking at a little bit more in terms of what can happen in playoffs. Group B, it's really about playoff spots and where people are going to end up in that particular group. But 4 games left today. They are not meaningless. We still have a lot to play for all of the teams involved. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights from yesterday. And Jamada, I'm gonna rope you in here because I know you're a serial abuser of just sitting in the channel and watching us while we cast. So you get to watch the broadcast. I know. But let's go through this one. This was the Barrage game here.
Yeah, so Barrage, honestly, they had a really sizable lead at the start of this game. But come the mid-game, they just kind of fumbled, and Cova managed to sneak away a Baron. I'm not actually too sure how far in this clip was, but Cova eventually ended up taking down Barrage, and this was the pentakill, or the very final part of the pentakill secured by Ore on the Samira, who honestly Fnatic couldn't find ways to meaningfully punish Ore on this Samira, and even though a couple of times he did manage to get hooked, they never really managed to burst him down within the CC, and you can just see even the half a second that he managed to cast his ultimate, and it's just so much damage coming out. It's
so broken. This was a banger of a game, by the way. This was unbelievable. Granite had to come in with a last-minute sub. A Diamond 1 top laner called Nordson. He came and played Ivern jungle for Granite, and Mishigu and Sahira absolutely popped off. And at the end, Thomas the tank engine. Look at this monster, just unkillable on the Ornn. And right at the end, we had this very important game, actually. Nordavin versus Dusty. Dusty tried their best, and it was a very close game, but, when Nordvin needs a certain player to step up, even though he ults the wrong way in this fight, bless him. When Nordvin needs a certain player to step up,
You do dirty like that.
Yeah, I know. But he stepped up on Chris Berg. Chris Berg stepped up on this gen, and he had an absolute carry performance. And unfortunately, that means that Dusty are now guaranteed relegations. And speaking of Dusty, this feels like a horrible time to slot this in. But we do have a video just highlighting Dusty, and I guess it could be a little eulogy to their performance for NLC this season.
I am Legends and I play mid lane for Dusty. So I joined Dusty August 2019. Obviously our performance in the NLC was kinda bad in the beginning.
I mean, yeah, even when we were in a bit of a slump, everyone still has like a really good attitude in practice and competitive, so I feel like no matter what happens, I'm very confident in us.
For Dusty to find a way back in,
good
they are
flash.
looking.
Oh, Chris Berg cast back into Doom, and Hoyes will secure the kill. Touch standing in the middle of the...
If we are having a good time, then we play really decent League of Legends, like as you guys can see. But we're really inconsistent. When we're having a bad game, we're like really trolling. But like when we are in our mojo, then we're playing decent League of Legends, I would say.
Well, you know, it's good to hear from Dusty, even though they will not be in the NLC guaranteed next season. They still have the chance to fight for that relegation spot, of course. So I'm sure they'll be prepping hard to make sure they retain their spot coming into next year. But there are plenty of challenges coming up from those Telia series across as well, including the UKLC, which has a lot of really good teams potentially fighting for those NLC spots too. Okay, well, guys, let's look towards today then. Let's have a look at the matches that we've got coming up, and you will see XL versus Godsent, Singularity versus Kova, Eminem versus Fnatic Rising, and Riddle versus Barrage. Actually, some relatively important games here across the board in terms of shifting those standings up. Any that you're particularly kind of looking forward to, guys?
Honestly, I just want to say the way I see it right now, obviously Godsent is going to beat BTXL. Obviously Kova is going to beat Singularity. Eminem is going to beat Fnatic, and Riddle is going to beat Barrage, because I leave for one freaking day and the whole world turns upside down apparently yesterday.
Yeah.
But yeah, my eyes are definitely on the first match of the day, BTXL Godsent. The bot lane from Godsent has been absolutely smurfing their games. Emtens, the quick timer, have really been the MVPs of their team, and I can't wait to see what they're going to do against the jungle kingdom of BTXL's Marcoon.
I feel like you've got to ban Thresh against Quick Timer. He's been too damn good on that champion. Obviously, then Jamada, anything? Are you voted for Eminem? I can't work out if it's just another allegiance vote, or if this is just like
it's not an allegiance vote.
Someone has. I'm pretty sure someone has.
Oh yeah, Gulborg also. When we do get around to the predictions, Gulborg has voted for Eminem, I'm pretty sure. But I'm just saying, you know, yesterday, loads of upsets. You know, obviously I'm on the UKLC. UKLC was filled with upsets as well. This feels like it might just be the week of upsets in general. So I was just like, okay, you know what? Fnatic, they didn't look too great yesterday. They fumbled a little bit, or a lot of it. Maybe Eminem finally pull out like their second win of the split against Fnatic. Just funsies, you know? Maybe.
Well, speaking of predictions, Jamada, should we take a look at them? Let's have a look at our predictions for the day. I went 0-4 yesterday, by the way. That basically shows you the level of upsets that we had in the game yesterday. Now, XL versus Godsent, Trouble and Gulborg repping Godsent. You are really going all in on that bot lane, Trouble. You're expecting big things here. That's
I'm saying one thing. If BTXL don't ban Thresh, they're trolling, and my prediction is going to come true.
Okay. Well, there we go. Well, we'll see, because it's our first game of the day, clearly. Singularity versus Kova, complete split across the board. Now, you know, after yesterday, I had to get on the Kova hype train again. Yeah. Like, I couldn't not. Like, that was just such a banger of a game. And the guys were memeing the Thomas the Tank Engine thing so hard. So, like, I gotta get behind Kova. And also, like, I genuinely think they have what it takes. I don't think Singularity have looked super clean. I think Kova have been explosive and very, very exciting to watch. And, you know, I think there's something there. And I think, Trouble, you seem to agree with me, because you've also gone for Kova.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like their jungle and support synergy has been out of the roof. They've been doing so great, dominating the map, setting their vision down, roaming together. It's just such a good sort of, I'm trying to find the word, foundation, there you go, to build the team up on.
Absolutely. The jungle, I mean, we have.
And you did vote for Eminem, Jamada. You did.
Yes. Jamada did vote for Eminem. Yeah. We have lavished praise on Tiara. He has been, a very, very impressive. Just the amount he roams without actually losing a huge amount from the lane either is really impressive. And Outlandish and him work really well as that jungle support, Joe, as you correctly mentioned. But of course, we should turn our eyes to that first game of the day. It is XL versus Godsent. Trouble, you have gone for what I would consider the underdog vote, so I will start with you. I want you to expand a little bit. Like, how do you see XL actually? How do you see Godsent beating XL here?
Okay, I don't want to do dirty indecision here, okay? But Marcoon is freaking Jungle Kingdom. This guy's pathing, this guy's brain works in a different way. He works in he's in another dimension. The way he's walking around his pathing, the new pathing, he should just not be getting away with it, and he does. And he just finds the correct way to stand in the correct lane at the correct time. Like, everything is just 100% on spot. Now, something about BTXL that I feel like, Godsent could find a gap in is their bot lane. And that is not to shade the bot lane from BTXL. It's due to the performance of MTest and QuickTime for Godsent specifically. I feel like if they get something like a Kai'Sa or a Xayah or something like a really hard carry, and they do get ahead, or like the affiliates with the Thresh, I feel like they do have what it takes to sort of translate it into the rest of the map. So yeah, I do believe specifically a lot in the Godsent bot lane. That's why I went for it.
And Jamada, I'm gonna give you the other side here. You're obviously, I mean, we both went for XL. I think clearly just because they do like to come in as the favorite.
XL, right? Yeah. I mean, I think for XL, the key thing is, as Trouble's saying, right? Godsent probably look the best when QuickTime is on a playmaker, MTest is on a carry that can actually sort of, as long as he's being facilitated by the rest of his team, Godsent can look really good. So I think for XL, at least looking at the draft, you look to remove away things like that Thresh, and you try and sort of put the Godsent bottom lane in draft in a hole where they don't really get to play much League of Legends. And I think XL more times than not come out ahead in the game. I mean, realistically, XL versus Godsent, you would normally put XL down as the favorites regardless. But I think if they're being super safe, they just look to put MTest and QuickTimer in a bit of a difficult situation where they're not really allowed to open up the map. QuickTimer's not really allowed to move.
And honestly, the only time that BTXL did lose their game was against a bot lane hop-in. It was against Nordavind and Crispberg. And it was because Orome got so choked up in the top lane, he was getting repeatedly dived. So if they focus on getting their bot lane ahead and possibly pushing Orome further behind in his lane, that could potentially be the key to victory.
I don't know if you guys heard the interview that we did with Orome this week, where essentially he was saying, because he's a similar position to Forbiven, right? Obviously not as veteran as Forbiven, but he came from the LECs back to a regional league, trying to work his way back up. But he has had a completely different perspective on his role in the team. Basically was just saying, I'm here to slot in. I want to do my best for my team. I don't really feel any pressure. I just want to enjoy the game. I want to get my passion back. I want to get my drive back. And if I get that back through playing a lower pressure level, where I don't feel like as much on me, then I'm going to be happy with that. And that's really, really, it was a really heartwarming interview actually to hear from him and kind of see his perspective on how he sees it. But he has been our best performing top laner, as you would expect. I think he has been overall our best performing top laner in the league. And so, often they have that potential to play through top lane as well, which not every team has the option for. Not every team has that ability to play through top lane right now. Whereas XL has that kind of kit or that tool in their toolkit. So anyway, guys, we do have a short break before we get to our first game of the day. We'll be about 5 minutes maybe, and then we'll be into Champion Selects. We'll see you soon.
Time to make a start. We can't stay where we are, my love. This is our one chance to chase the sun. We've got to cut and run, my love. For all the reasons we work so hard, for the life that we deserve. I know that we'll be on golden sands, seeing far across the world. It's time to make a start. We can't stay where we are, my love. This is our one chance to chase the sun. We've got to cut and run, my love. For all the reasons we work so hard, for the life that we deserve. I know that we'll be on golden sands, seeing far across the world.
Watching the world go by under the moonlit sky. It's the feeling, yeah, it's the feeling. Sun-kissed and having fun, oceans and summer sun. It's the feeling, yeah, it's the feeling. We know all ain't gonna change, and we know the stars will never fade. We'll never walk away, make this our real life, just you and me. Right where I want to be. Right where I want to be. Never let it go, never let it go. Never let it go, never let it go. Never let it go, never let it go.
We are heading to our first game of the day, XL versus Godsent, and this is going to be an interesting match because it doesn't mean much for XL. Clearly, XL are locked into first place, but it means a lot for Godsent. They are essentially within reach of second, but also, is finishing as low as fifth. So there is some very real shifts that could happen in this sort of group as a result of this game. Anyone pick that up? Anyone pick that up?
Trouble.
That one out.
Oh wait,
just gonna,
no.
like setting it up for everyone. Just then everyone looks at me, just like chilling. Okay, thanks, guys.
That's kind of my bad because I saw an old T. But Trouble, go ahead now. Seems
it wasn't old T. It was an old T.
old T.
So the thing with BTXL is that even in games that didn't necessarily quote unquote matter to them, that were playing against lesser good teams, they have been playing to a T. It's been textbook for BTXL, start to finish. Doesn't matter who they're playing against, they're gonna play the same clean, methodical game. They're gonna have their, perfect textbook compositions, and they're going to execute on them. On the other hand, Godsent has been extremely inconsistent whether they're gonna pop off or not. But the blueprint is there. You have seen BTXL lose. You know what it takes to make BTXL lose, and you do have what it takes in your team to make that happen. They lost through bot lane last time. They can lose through bot lane again. Thresh is banned. Case closed.
Game over.
Can I change my prediction?
It's done. All right. Pack it up, guys.
Might as well pack up. Pack up and go home. You're done, guys. Okay, a couple of extra bans coming through. Seraphine, obviously you're not going to give that over to Silk, who has played Seraphine a few times in the mid lane. Lilia taken off the board. Udyr, Rel, and Avian's had some very good Rel games, and Camille. So Arome won't get his hands on Camille, obviously having that ability to play through that carry top side of the map. And it's going to be a Nidalee first lock for Marku.
Yeah, so obviously Indecisions really favored the Graves a lot. So just locking in the Nidalee first, that's obviously a relatively safe blind. But Indecision still wants to take the other side of the matchup, so he's happy to, and immediately locked in with the Galio. Obviously can flex mid and jungle, mid and bot to the support role. Can just obviously provide a lot of mid lane priority, so the Graves can kind of do a little more in terms of trying to invade. But into Nidalee, you might not want to get too up in her face.
No, I was about to say take the Kai'Sa away, but I just really like the fact that Galio has been locked in because I want Silk to play for his side laners, right? I want them to play for Zombie to try and set back Rome, and I want them also to play for the bot lane, whether it's trouble or not in there, because they need to pull out ahead. So Silk here is going to play mostly like the facilitator role together with Indecision. Indecision is going to have to play through the lanes that have priority, and if that Senna gets locked in, okay, it does get locked in.
Yeah, so the AD carries didn't really change a whole bunch this patch, but obviously Senna's been getting more and more popular. I'll be curious to see whether the Galio now ends up in Silk or in Quicktimer's hands, because typically the Sennas are paired up with relatively defensive bottom laners. So we could be in for, depending on what BTXL obviously ban, something like, you know, Senna Tahm Kench, where it just neutralizes this bottom side and they give the counter pick up to Zombie. And then they obviously have all of the priority from the mid lane. They've got the global from the Senna, and then they can actually play through Zombie. But playing into a Rome and when you've got potentially a Nidalee top side feels a little bit scary.
Honestly, I do like it now that you mentioned it, because it's going to be possible like a Bruiser / Nidalee composition for the top side of BTXL, but you have two globals that if Zombie is in trouble, Galio's gonna come smacking down. The Senna ultimate is going to reach. So I just really like what Godsent is doing right here, because even if they don't necessarily win lane, they can win the game later on through pressure by their ultimates.
Yeah.
Glad that Gulbo
Sorry,
lives
Gulbo.
on.
Sorry.
Yeah,
So I'm glad that he lives on when he's not even on the broadcast. There we go. Orianna ban here. That, and you know, solid mid lane to pair up with this particular composition, and we'll see Godsent, the Gnar blind pick coming through. That is something that's been very, very popular.
Okay, the Gnar blind seems a bit strange though, when you know what the support matchup is, unless you're willingly putting the Galio bot. I think this Ryze is actually going to be a Rome's, unless I'm misreading. I feel like they're more likely to put this Yone mid. That's a very, very fun rotation though coming out from BTXL. And now I'm curious to see what Godsent are actually going to do with the Galio, because I feel like realistically locking in something like the Tahm Kench with that Senna to neutralize the aggression from the bottom side and then getting counterpick on the top side would have sort of yielded a few more results.
I would honestly really like to see the Yone up top side, because if they can snowball a Rome on the Yone together with the Nidalee, it's going to make their life much easier. It's also really good played into Na as well. It's not necessarily a counter because it has way too much mobility onto that Yone. So I just really want to see where it's going to end up. I really hope it stays like this, because I want to see the Yone top lane. It does well into the Na. The Nidalee combo together with him is going to be extremely oppressive to play against. And Silk onto that Kassadin. I can't say I'm the biggest fan, because I do like priority lanes together with Graves. But seeing the composition, they really want to go late game. I just hope that they have the tools to withstand all the upfront damage that BTXL are going to throw in their face.
I get the impression with the BTXL comp.
It's tough. It's Yone top.
It is definitely. I mean, you have to stop for 20 seconds. I believe that's the rule. So I think it's definitely going to be a Roman playing Yone top. I get the impression with the BTXL comp, and very quickly you can let me know if I'm on the point here. If they even make a slight mistake, even fall behind slightly, like they're just going to get battered in team fights. But they do have that 1-3-1 potential with the Ryze and the Yone, right?
I think that they've got enough scaling to the point where they're not going to struggle too hard if they fall behind. But making errors into the likes of a Kassadin and a Senna, obviously Senna scales infinitely, it can be a bit of an issue.
Okay, so with how textbook BTXL has been playing so far, I find it extremely difficult for them to make an error specifically into the Kassadin, because Kassadin he's just going to struggle so much in the earlier stages of the game. He's not going to have any priority for the Graves. I'm expecting that the Graves is going to be playing mostly towards the top side, trying to get the Gnar ahead, and also shadow him to keep him safe, because the Nidalee Yone combo, it's going to be hard to deal with.
Well, we have our tried and tested old school duo ready to cast games today. I think it's
what?
Who is? I can't remember their names again.
Producer?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess just hand it to them.
All right, yeah.
Thank you, Desk of Randoms. There's more stakes here than a butcher's shop right now for this game. We have Godsent playing for a place in the playoffs or going home, basically. They can finish anywhere between 2nd and 5th right now. There's a whole bunch of tiebreakers which could come out from depending on who wins in this game, Orcs.
Yeah, so, I mean, essentially, Godsent are going to have a tiebreaker either way. If they lose, they're going to have a tiebreaker against Granite. The winner makes it in the playoffs in 4th place. The loser goes into the 5th place spot where you get nothing. You're not relegated. You're also not in playoffs. If they win, though, they'll be in a 3-way tie with Tricked and Nordavind. And that means that they'll have to still play a tiebreaker, but they could actually end up coming as high as 2nd in the group, which is pretty crazy to think about. So it all comes down to this game. Godsent still will be able to make playoffs if they lose this, but seeding is important, and they can make a much higher placement in the group if they win this one.
Defensive lines getting started up here for both XL and Godsent. XL, obviously, they dropped one game this split, but outside of that, it's been a really, really good split for them so far. You look over on the other side at the other Academy team, Fnatic dropping their first game, and then yesterday, such a big upset. Nobody saw that coming, with the Riddle getting a win over them.
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was a wild day, is the only way we can really phrase it.
Yesterday was crazy.
Bad day for the NLC analysts, though.
Great day for me, by the way. Just throwing it out there.
I like how it's a great day for you. You got 2, dude. You got
How many did you get?
Out of 4.
How many did you get out of 4?
Yeah, but I wouldn't.
Oh, no.
Like,
how many did you get out of 4, mate?
Like I got 2. You're like, oh yes, I got 2. How many do you normally get? You know, if
2.
you guessed and 50-50 did, that's how much you'd get. So I hope you're happy.
Oh, just answer me. How many did you get?
1.
Oh, that's double what you got then.
So 1 week. This is a long tournament, Jake. You got 1 week. Enjoy it while
I think this is actually the first week where I've actually had a good week.
This isn't a good week. You got 2 out of 4. That is not good.
We're 2 days in.
Better,
I didn't get 2 on the. I can't remember how many I got on the day before, but I think I got a couple. Avian getting heavily CC'd down here is going to be okay though. You're just salty that you got it wrong.
No, I don't mind being wrong with them. It's just the fact you're like, yes, I got 2 out of 4. Like, but your standards higher, Jake. You gotta believe in yourself.
Look, man, I've been working with you long enough to have low standards.
Lord.
That was disgusting. Speaking of disgusting, Deadly's getting jumped onto. Avian actually body blocks the snare, and now Quicktimer Ignited has to flash away to safety from Avian. Rome, though, is getting giga-bullied by Zombie right now.
Yeah, I mean, one of the aspects is this game doesn't change standings for XL, but I kind of felt like Renekton would have made more sense for Rome. It sets the Nidalee up really well. Yes, you're still going to be sitting back in lane, but then you can apply that pressure. Yone can challenge Gnar, but it's very difficult. You have to play it really effectively, because you can obviously dash on him when he's mini. Those early levels are an absolute pain, and Arome is really struggling right now.
Now, I'm pretty sure Indecision has been free buffed by Marcoon now. He has.
Yep, managed to sneak away with that one. Obviously, that lack of mid priority means you're not getting too much help. I mean, look at all the wards and the traps in the jungle already. Very clearly planned out by BTXL. And fortunately, though, Indecision will come through and just clear away the little raptor. So that's going to be on its respawn timer.
Still pretty rough, though. As Marcoon's just able to move back into his own jungle and start picking up the camps now. Bottom side Crab hasn't been contested by either of these junglers, and Arome may be getting himself a little bit of love thrown in. Zombie's about to gnar out. This could get kind of messy real quick as the spears have come in. The blind goes very, very wide. Zombie gets the mega gnar off, and Arome now walloped down by Zombie. They're looking for the kill, but it's going to be first blood from Marcoon. Indecision tries to flash to reposition through the minions, and now Marcoon can continue the chase. The spear lands, the execute comes in, and it's a double kill in the top lane for XL.
I mean, that was just really well played by BTXL, but Godsent kind of fumbled it. Oh, Advian?
Silk is going to get chunked out pretty heavily, but is going to be able to survive this one.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these scenarios where Zombie set this play up thinking, I don't care about getting chunked. He's like, I don't care. I'm taking all this damage. It's whatever. My jungler is here. This is fine. So he goes in, but then Marcoon turns up. This is where things are problematic. He's got double buffs. He's a level up. And Zombie flashes for this stun, but they aren't able to finish a Rome off. The Triumph comes in and the minions are blocking the damage from Graves. And Marcoon, now 2 levels up, is just able to finish off Indecision. Ultimately, this was a scenario where Godsent didn't respect the fact that Marcoon could be there. And when he was, he just hard turned that in their favor. And now he's got 2 kills in his pocket. He's looking pretty strong. Almost 20 CS up, 18 up on the Graves right now.
Yeah, really, really big lead accruing in the jungle.
I mean, it feels like this as well.
I mean, Silk as well. He's just getting bullied away from the wave by Hatrix. So low, and Hatrix gonna be able to pick this plate up in Silk's face. Not much you can really do about that one. We'll be able to at least, I believe, pick up that cannon.
Silk's just sitting there being like, level 16. That's
10 to go, 10 levels to go.
Yeah. That's the goal. Getting chunked heavily here. Doesn't have TP, so if you do recall, you're going to miss a bunch of farm, but I don't think there's much you can do. Marcoon's just going to continue applying the pressure, picking up the dragon here. Bot lane doing pretty solidly, and Advian finding another opportunity for a roam. If Silk stays here, Advian can just flash onto him.
Yeah, he's going to be able to. Zenith Blade, ignite. Hatrix gets the kill. Great little flash there. Clear over that wall, and Advian gets away with a sliver of health.
Yeah, thanks to that extra armor from the Aftershock and the W of the Leona, able to tank those tower hits pretty effectively, and used E flash to really, like, Silk saw Advian on that ward, but because of the E flash, he just couldn't react in time. Because once the E has hit you, even though he managed to dash away, you're still rooted, and the follow-up was there. Now Marcoon actually has found Indecision. This isn't your jungle, dude.
Indecision's getting tower dove here. He is going down. I say tower dove. Actually, it wasn't his tower, but
this isn't his side of the map, Shig.
He's diving the tower.
This is not where he lives.
You don't go here.
Yeah, he does not go here. And Marcoon's made that very clear. I can understand like the situations like this where you're behind in the jungle, you're struggling, Marcoon's ahead, he triple buffed you, he's been stealing camps. You want to get a bit of revenge, but Marcoon just isn't letting that happen. He's already got the tier 2 boots, he's already moving around the map so quickly, and you're just never going to win head to head. And you can see Advian gets spotted here on the ward, but then the E flash comes in and still Griff walks instantly, but he's already been rooted and he's so low that the ignite combined with the rise damage is just enough. But yeah, I mean, see a bit of action here.
Yeah, portal's coming in. Hatrix going to lock down underneath the tower, and that's Marcoon on a rampage now. Quick timer and steel car about, so it's a 3 versus 3. The flash, the taunt onto 1 underneath the tower. The tower shots are going to come in, and that shall be the kill for Quick Timer. Godsent finally answer back, but it's the support that gets the gold.
Yeah, unfortunate. Quick Timer was want to pick it up, and it ends up being a 1-for-1. Marcoon getting that once again, and we're seeing a bit of the power of this Rise Nidalee combo. Rise has that route he can land really effectively, really easily, and once that's there, the spear is so easy to hit. And this Nidalee with a Hextech Alternator does so much burst damage this early in the game. That item, a really strong component to be sitting on.
Does give you a lot of early burst. Now we are seeing M-Test shoving out this lane for the moment. Obviously, Advian has made his way over, so that is going to be all she wrote on that one. But with the Rift Herald up, Deadly's already swapped over. Godsent have swapped their bot lane up as well, so there will be a scrap over this Herald. Keep in mind, XL are up 2,500 gold right now, and you can see most of that on Marcoon.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big lead in the mid lane as well, but vast majority is that jungle difference. And it makes it really scary. There's a lot of CC, particularly Hatrix and Advian really easily can set up the Nidalee to land spears. And if one of those connects, that's basically someone on Godsent dying. So as much as they've swapped up to the top side, they even have some really solid vision control around the Herald. I think it's extremely dangerous to start it up. And if BTXL do go for it, you need to be confident you'll be taking the fight and winning it, because if you lose it, the game's going to be put in a really difficult spot.
It looks like there will be some contest here as they're making their way over. I say contest. A start by XL is not going to get contested by Godsent, although Quick Timer is having a look in the area just to see if it's up, but deciding going, yep, okay, XL are doing it. That's all the information he's willing to give.
All that vision makes it very clear that the Herald's been done. Godsent's fully aware, and this setup, if they were even or ahead, would have been really solid for Godsent, but I think they made the complete right decision. You're not in a position to contest this one. Just wait. You've got to cast it in. You've got to stunner. Late game, you should be feeling a lot more comfortable. Right now, it's kind of just damage control. 3,000 gold lead and second dragon spawning up soon. So I expect to see BTXL looking for that one. We've seen pings come out. I think the plan is going to be to apply some pressure mid lane, potentially threaten the tower, and then move from that to the dragon.
Indecision is actually ready for this, though, so he's going to help clear through the way before the Herald spawns up. Markian takes a free tower shot, and this will be the charge. This will be the plates going over. A lot of damage, but here comes Quick Timer. He Justice punched into the wall. And that is going to be the end of that little attempt from Godsent.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. BTXL a little bit greedy with that one, overstaying to get that final plate. And Godsent actually looked like they were going to punish, but unfortunately, Quick Timer wasn't able to find the Justice Punch and then doesn't have his flash to follow up more. So XL get out without really being punished. But I think potentially if Godsent were in a better position, that could have been a little bit risky for BTXL.
Zombie playing annoyance here, although doesn't realize he's outnumbered. The Zenith play from Amphian's going to go a little bit wide, and actually the dragon has been started up by Godsent. They're the ones to get the go on this, but Markun has the Night Harvester and will do a lot of damage. He's going to look to try and jump over the wall, but that is already dragon secured. Advian flashes, gets himself the engage onto the jungler. Down goes Indecision, and now Silk able to drift walk away to safety. XL trade the dragon for the kill. But as long as Godsent don't give too much more up here, I think they're okay with this.
Yeah, I mean, that mid lane tower was pretty chunked out already. Obviously, it's huge that XL are able to take it, and they've made this very clear. They don't expect this game to go to a soul scenario. Sacrificing the dragon in return for getting the reset off and being able to threaten this mid lane tower. But yeah, Godsent get it. Only lose one member, which you'll absolutely take, but there's just no way they can defend mid lane on that. Wave's already pushed in, tower's already low. But it begs a question. So BTXL, massive gold lead now. Really strong position. Mid lane's towers down, which when it happens this early, sets a dangerous precedent because the outer towers are more vulnerable. But they have missed out on that dragon. So Soul, less of a threat for Godsent. So if Godsent can stall the game out, they have a little bit extra time. But right now, the problem isn't really the threat of an Elder. It's the fact that there's almost 5,000 gold lead between these two teams. That's like the concerning thing. So yeah, it opens a window. But if the house is on fire, you're pretty screwed anyway.
Yeah, it's still a massive gold lead for XL, and it was like only a Cloud Drake for Godsent, so it's not like a game-changing thing, but it is nice, and it slows down a potential soul. Like you said, XL probably not really playing for the soul as a win condition, but it just slows it down in case it does come to that. So it's not an awful pickup for Godsent. The question is can they stem the bleeding at this point? 12 minutes in, the gold lead, like you said, 5,000 up for XL, and they're just looking to continue to push the pressure they've got. Godsent need time. They need levels before they're really going to feel comfortable going toe-to-toe with XL.
And that's the problem. If there's a huge overextension by XL, everyone's squishy apart from the Leona, so there are windows where Godsent can punish them. If we see Nidalee diving super deep before she has, stopwatch or Zhonya's, CC, and then damage from the team will take her down. But that's if XL play into those scenarios. We almost saw it mid lane, but not quite. But for the most part, what I expect to see from XL is Markun just moving around, and when he gets to a lane, either hat-tricks with someone or Advian stuns someone, you land a spear, and that person is dead. There's no other way you could phrase it. Insane amount of damage. Already had the Night Harvester, huge amount of burst, and likely will have some extra golden pocket now as well. So it's rough. XL by all means should be looking to clean this, close this one out cleanly, but Godsent, it's about finding those picks or waiting for those overextensions. Just slow it down, don't overstep. And I think we have kind of seen that, I'd say. The fact that they didn't fight the Herald was a good omen. The fact that, yes, they got the dragon, but then they instantly backed away. They peeled off. They said, jungler's dead, whatever, leave it. It shows they have the right mindset.
Yeah. Just to let you know what's going on, we do have a ping issue on the side of Godsent, so they're just waiting to get the internet to calm down so they can carry on with the game. Currently a little bit too high to play with. We do take stock of where we are item-wise at the moment. You already noted on the fact that Marcoon's finished up the Night Harvester. Hatrix has the Luden's Echo, and then M-Test is the only member on Godsent who has their Mythic finished up in the Kraken Slayer for the center. So looking for that Rage Knife to get, the kind of the Kaiser, sorry, not the Kaiser, the center build going, but we'll take a little bit longer before we get to that point. So, Godsent, they're down at the moment, but they just gotta kind of chill. They just don't want to give up too much more. They've lost their mid tower, which means XL do open up the map for themselves and can kind of place some deeper wards in and invade a little bit more to get control for these objectives. And with a Rift Herald spawning up fairly soon, with another Dragon spawning up later, these are things they do have to keep in mind. But I think for now, if you're Godsend, it's not the game state you want, but it's not dire straits. It's not like all of your plates, all of your towers is gone yet, right?
You pick Kassadin, you knew it was going to be playing the slower game, especially against a team like XL. And I've definitely seen team comps where when you're behind, it's like that game is over. But I don't think this necessarily is one, because for BTXL, yes, the carries do scale well, but a lot of squishy members, potential vulnerability. If people overstep, they will get bursted down and taken out. So we'll just have to see. But the pressure is on for Godsent. Just a reminder, if they lose this, they will be in a tiebreaker against Granite. Winner makes playoffs, loser does not. If they win this, they are guaranteed playoffs and lock that in. And then they will play a 3-way tiebreaker against Tricked and Nordavind to decide who comes second, third, and fourth in the group. So potentially Godsent could not even just make playoffs, but come second in the group, which would be insane, right behind XL. But need this win absolutely for that to happen.
Yeah, regardless of what happens, there are tiebreaker scenarios. But for Godsent, if they want the best kind of tiebreaker scenario for them, they need to win this. Otherwise, it gets a little bit harder. It gets a little bit rough. But there's so many places still open up in Group A, and this game is arguably one of the most important ones we've got of the day. There are still a fair few games coming up, which hold some meaning to some of these teams or some merit. But this is definitely, we are opening on the most important game of the day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the ping issues are still ongoing. So we get, more time to look at us and talk a little bit more about this game and other things. I'm going to, before we go off mark, because I know it's going to happen any moment now, I want to talk about break timers. Is there an item, break point or a level? I mean, obviously 16 on Kassadin, but is there a particular maybe set of items we're looking for on Godsent when you go, okay, they're now comfortable to play this game out? Or is it just Kassadin has to hit 16?
Yeah, I think it's kind of hard to say, because with champions like Kassadin and Senna, items are still important, absolutely, but there's other aspects to it. So, if Silk gets to level 16 and he still hasn't completed his first item, it doesn't matter whether he's level 16. Obviously, that's unlikely to happen in this game, but it's about finding a balance. So late in the game, obviously the Senna stacks are a big factor. 2 items is a big spike for 3 items is a big spike for with the Kassadin, it's kind of like having your core completed plus a couple of defensives so you can go more aggressive. That's when I feel a bit more confident, because even if you're level 16, current Kassadin is a lot squishier than old Kassadin was before the preseason. You used to have your Rod of Ages, you used to have your Seraph Shield. So against a squishier team like this, you'd have a lot more survivability. Kassadin will just get absolutely popped. So I think once he has a Zhonya's on top of his Mythic, once he has plenty a Banshees as well, that's when I'd feel a little bit more confident that Kassadin can survive to actually have an effective team fight. But it all kind of depends on how things pan out. So maybe 3 or 4 items for the Kassadin is when I'd say things might be really troublesome for BTXL. But that's the thing, is that BTXL, they're not one of those compositions to just fall off a cliff. Which is why it's going to take a while before Godsent I can convincingly say they look better with the scaling.
Yeah. I think we kind of talked enough about the game and the state of that. So I think it's time for us to podcast a little bit here, mate.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about League of Legends recently.
Oh, no.
I know.
Jake, they asked you not to do that specifically.
I've decided that W spells are the worst, because they're either just filler or they're just really unfun abilities. Cassiopeia Miasma is a really unfun ability. I don't like it. You get grounded, you get slowed, you got Graves Blinders on his W. most of these champions have like an annoying ability. It's always their W. Take it.
Yeah,
Walk
it's kind
with that,
of it's kind of weird how like some champions have like certain abilities. Like E is very much like the dash ability, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of champions have their dash on their E, but then you look at Nidalee and Nidalee's is on a W, you know. It's kind of weird how like there's an expectation with a lot of champions to have a certain thing in certain places. Like, because you know you have Ezreal, you have Caitlyn, you have Graves, Gnar,
Pike,
Yone, Pike, all have like their ability spell on their E, and then it's like you have champions that just completely break the rules. I just don't understand how they decide them. Like, when do they sort of say, oh, this should be on this should be on this? It kind of feels like a lot of champions, their most used or primary ability is on their Q. I will definitely say that, but E and W is a little bit inconsistent.
It's one of those things where you don't think about it, but there's probably like massive meetings about where the abilities are going to go on the keys. Like, I don't think they just naturally fall there. I reckon there's
maybe
meetings.
There's like a heated debate about it. It's like, no, I believe that this ability should be on the W. Absolutely not. How could you even say that? I thought we were friends.
Did you see the original Jinx? What it originally was?
No.
Well, I'll talk about that in a minute, because Silk, you're in for a bit of hurt, my friend. As the Rune Prison, everything is laid down. Galio,
Yep.
I mean, quick time, you probably just need to leave, mate.
He cleared the wave at least, but yeah, I mean, that was just what I was talking about before the break. Marcoon goes to a lane, Atrix lands the Rune Prison, and Silk isn't going to be able to dodge that spear, and it does a lot of damage.
Originally, Jinx's ult was a carpet bomb that was global. Basically, imagine global rumble ult.
Like global Porky package, except you don't travel with it.
Rome actually slammed back into the tower, but it wasn't enough to put the stun in. Spear's going to get it from Marcoon, and he just one-shots him. 6-0 on the Nidalee right now. QuickTime has to flash a wall as well. His Indecision uses his E key to get over. Marcoon's going to use his W. There you go. That's going to spoon you out a little bit. And look for the spear. He's going to jump the wall one last time. Indecision. You'll have to have some fancy feet here. Able to get it. They're able to get away. As Deadly cleanses and flashes away to safety from QuickTime. A little bit overeager.
Yeah, not sure what you were doing there, buddy. A little bit walk alone as the AD carry. Getting a bit greedy and gets punished for it. But yeah, you could see Godsent wanted to copy the play that BTXL went for. No way they could get it.
M-Test. It is not where you want to be. Marcoon.
Hit that spear. I mean, this is it. Marcoon walks in lane. He lands a spear. Someone dies. It's a very simple process for XL right now. And unfortunately, Godsent, you know, they wanted stability. They wanted things to slow down. XL is not letting that happen. 7,000 gold lead now.
Yeah, I like how in that extended break, which felt like a while ago, but it was literally a minute ago in game time, we were like, they're 5k gold down, but they just need to stem their bleed and they're fine. And then as soon as they come back, Marcoon just walks up and down the map, gets a bunch of kills, and the gold lead goes to 7k. It's getting rough.
It's like the solution to the bleeding was to amputate it. It just made things a lot worse.
Tried to Courtois, but it didn't work. You can see the gold graph over time. It is dropping like the blood levels of Godsent right now.
Rough. And now it's getting to the point where like there's definitely a critical mass where it doesn't matter, like if the game becomes almost unplayable, the gold lead is so big, because there's certain like rules in League of Legends, like you can't, like it's very hard for a team to end the game just by like forcing through mid when both Nexus towers are open, unless it's a significant advantage for one side. If teams are even, that's a really good way to throw the game. But if BTXL get this far ahead, they can just do whatever they want, and Godsent don't have any recourse. I mean, like this.
Yeah, Silk overextended. This time it's going to be Deadly to cash in on the kill.
BTXL can just go where they want, kill who they want, and the gold lead is so significant now. It kind of feels like we've hit critical mass. Godsent, they either need to find some picks or they need a lot of time because things are not looking good right now.
A little bit sorry for Rome, to be honest. It's been relatively quiet for him, but as we
he did get that outplay in the tower dive.
True, yeah. I don't know if that was just Zombie missing his R, to be fair though.
I think it was a combination of factors, you know. With every outplay, there's a little bit of misplay on the other side.
Well, second dragon does get picked up for Godsent, so technically they're closer to Solve than XL right now. There we go. Looking on the positives. On the negatives, they're 10k gold down at 17 minutes, and they
Godsent
have
are
lost.
closer to being souls in the afterlife.
It is getting frightful. It's probably the best way I can describe it right now for Godsent.
I want to see a spear hit. I want to see a max range spear hit. I just want to see how much damage it does.
Is MTS going to stop it? Yes, he is.
Get the 2 souls. That's a win in my books.
How many souls is he at on center, actually?
8.
Curious to see that.
No, 30.
30 what? 32. Not a lot.
Going up. 33.
There we go.
Some winning gameplay.
Oh,
34. Oh my lord. Godsent have done it.
To be honest, me and Orts are just flexing the fact we can actually count.
Yep.
That's all
Had a
this
lot of
is.
battles with that, honestly.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
That fucked the shield as well.
That was through the shield bow as well, by the way.
Yep. Yep. And the thing is, I'm pretty sure Markoon has a ton of gold in his pocket. A decent amount. Not a ton, but you know.
That's a needlessly large rod, and I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he bought. Yep, anime
Got
guy.
it in one. Yep, going for that even more. Wait, could it happen?
Could we get a fully stacked Magi's game?
No, I was thinking like this is a little bit. Typically, you don't build this on Nidalee because it's a little bit int. But could we see the Horizon focus Nidalee?
Oh,
Because it's a little bit in because you're all in on landing those max range spears, and that is not the smartest play pattern, but it is definitely a fun one.
Looks like Zombie might be going to his namesake here. So he'll be joining the undead. One spear from Markoon goes a little bit wide. And looks like they're giving the kill to Deadly.
Not sure they had much before. He's steadily taking that one regardless. But yeah, 10,000 gold lead now. Godsent are going to try and threaten this tower, but I'm not confident they can.
Rome's jumping in. Can zip back with the soul unbound as the spear connects from Markoon. Is he going to jump in onto Quick Timer? I don't know yet, but a second spear comes in. Quick Timer flashes away. Heal comes out from M-Test from the piercing light, and they're able to get away.
He would have just absolutely just smashed him. 4-level lead over the support for Markoon. So yeah, that Galio would have very much been dead if he didn't flash. And I mean, if we take a look at the mid lane tower, Godsent did manage to tickle its HP down a tiny bit. Thank you, Observer. Wow, look at that progress.
I was expecting so much more. You really put the expectations there.
Well, it's something.
I would like to find out what the largest gold lead we've had all split is. I believe Jamada probably is the man for that. If someone can let me know from production, because we could be approaching that, to be honest, as we do get another pause.
Yeah, thanks. So we've been paused to check this out. Appreciate it, XL and Godsent.
Jamada's asking me, Jamada, I know you've got connections. Find out what the largest gold lead all split has been. This time it's Godsent's AD carry, by the way, who's having an issue. So we are just having, unfortunately, a few ping issues, but we are going to hopefully get back into the game a little bit quicker.
Yeah, it appears M-Test got hit by a spear and just his control stopped working. So screen went grey. Yeah, it's looking rough. You know, we always like to play devil's advocate as casters and be like, well, there's still hope. And in theory, yes, but this is a difficult one to come back into for Godsent. It can't just come from Godsent. I think Godsent, it's very difficult for them to play this perfectly and find a win. It really has to come from BTXL making mistakes. There has to be like both teams collaborating to make this a Godsent win, because with that goal lead, if XL even play this like at a mediocre level, they should be winning this game. They need to make mistakes. They need to overstep. All those bounties we're seeing need to get put into the pocket of Godsent.
Well, Baron's getting started on spawn, and I just don't think Godsent can even contest this. Zombie is Meganar. It's maybe the one thing they got to work with. This is going to have to be one hell of a Hail Mary. Indecision took a single spear, and now he is almost too low to do anything. Zombie's about to time out. Teleports are coming in, and it's too late. The Zenith Blade ultis, everything's going to connect. In they jump as Deadly slides in onto the back line. Quick Timer caught out. Silk has to flash away. Here exits the Galio. Hatrix is going to get snared up and jumped up. But Markoon will finish Silk. Silk able to rift walk over the wall to safety. On top of a spear, though, so they know exactly where he is. Zombie's trying to block for his team as Markoon will land the spear onto him. And Decision and the rest of the team do get away with their lives.
I mean, they get to live, but the 18,000 cooldown nearly. Baron now in pocket of BTXL. They don't even need to reset. They're just going to start putting damage into this tower.
Well, down goes the first inhibitor tower. Mid lane inhibitor will be quick to follow. Zombie and Steel trying their best to deal with Hatrix in the top lane, who has done, as Orcs would say, a tickle of damage to that tower.
Let's see if Nidalee is going to pick up the Horizon focus. It'd be such a Chad move, honestly.
No, it's
I got
Cap.
the Rabadons.
I respect a man who goes, nah, I'm not gonna throw it that hard. Godsent are actually going for Dragon. Like, this is sole point, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. This game is not going on for another 5 minutes, it doesn't feel. At least if XL's plan goes ahead, I mean, yeah, Hatrix is kind of decimating that Cassadin.
Godsent aren't even going for it, but if they got that Dragon, and then they somehow stemmed the bleeding for another 5 minutes, and then got Soul, then waited for Silk to hit 16, Cassadin with Soul would be really nasty. That's my optimism here, but my optimism is fastly falling apart.
Guys, he's got Verdant Barrier. This is a win for Godsent. Got the MR. Easy days. Maybe not. Probably definitely not. Ambitious. Second inhibitor down. Moving on to the third next. I don't know. I really don't know what Godsent can do here. Someone from BTXL needs to overstep. They need to try and find the CC. So looking.
Just able to dodge away for a moment as they do get the quick timer taunt off. A lot of damage, and there's a kill for Silk already. But Arome jumps on onto the backline. M-Test will lose his life. The slam comes in.
Oh, that's
triple kill for Silk. Godsent, they finally find their opening. They find a fight. Oh my lord.
That's the overstep. That's what we're looking for. 3 kills on the Cassadin with shutdowns as well. Godsent definitely not in a good spot, but a little bit of that, a little bit more of that is what they need.
Just going to portal jump over to the bot lane, and this will be the last inhibitor tower going down. Deadly slaps it with an auto attack. I'd like to see how much gold Silk has now after that. He got 2,700 gold in his pocket.
That is a lot.
He's still massively behind Hatrix though. Like it's
still massive. He's still behind everyone in XL, but you know, level 14 now. It's feeling better.
It's feeling better. They have 2 towers and 1 inhibitor standing right
what's
now.
He got? So he picked up a Banshees and a needlessly large rod on the back of that. So that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Still a couple more shutdowns available, but that was the overstep from XL, essentially. That was XL. They didn't need a fight there. They could have just zoned Godsent away. They could have just launched spears at them. Had them forced to dodge away from each one. But they kind of, you know, got a little bit impatient at the end and went for a play that wasn't necessary. And Godsent managed to punish it. Good moves there from Zombie, setting up the play, and then Silk on the casting clean up. And now he is level 15, okay? He's got his mythic. He's got a defensive. I still think it might need a bit more, but when he hits 16, he's going to be a little bit scary.
Zombie's about to gnar out as well here, so maybe finding a little something. Jumping in onto Deadly. Zombie loses so much health. Spear's going to go wide, and M-Test gets chunked out as Rome has to jump away for the moment. M-Test able to sustain back up with that piercing darkness, and this will be the final inhibitor turret going down. Oh, sorry, the final inhibitor falling down. The Nexus turret's only structures remaining in the base. Godsent, they're going to look for it. There's the flash. There's the taunt. They're looking to try and find their opening. Unable to get it yet as they do jump in onto Quick Timer. Solar Flare connects onto a couple of members already. Quick Timer has lost his life. And XL still have the health bars to work with. Still have the damage to work with as well. Zombie so far away from gnarring out. With these super waves pushing in more and more, Godsent going to look for one last buy before they are going to have to scrap. The first Nexus turret will fall any moment now. Silk jumps forward onto Deadly.
Are they just going to heal up though? Super minions starting to build up, and there's not too much wave clear. This is looking to be it for BTXL.
Yeah, that's definitely the go button. Quick Timer is back alive, though. Zombie got the Gnar form available, but isn't able to get close enough to really get the wallop back. This turret's still standing. Zombie jumps in, shuffles back. They get themselves a shutdown. Deadly's down. Advia knocked up for the moment. Silk jumping away. The Igniter's burning. Silk lives, and it's now a double kill for the AD carry. Arome slides in forwards as the tower goes down. The Nexus has been exposed. Godsent are making the fight, but that bounce from a hat-trick from the Overload was just disgusting. Yeah. Silk shoves him forward once again. Arome, he's the one under fire. They're going to continue the chase as the railgun connects, and Silk will continue to jump forward. The Soul Unbound comes in. Arome gets a free man knockup and pings back to safety. Loses his life as the inhibitor respawns. The supers are on the base. And Godsent are somehow holding on to this game. Somehow, by a thread, they are hanging on.
Yeah, I mean, it was close, but you know how I was talking about how just forcing through mid on those double Nexus towers can be difficult? Looks like XL found that out the hard way and get punished. You see Deadly just a little bit too far forwards, no flash, and they just dive onto him instantly. Zombie really the one setting up this play. But big help there from Silk, and as soon as the Kaiser's down, you can actually see things start to go in favor. Adrian jumps in, gets CC'd and locked down, and the rest of XL are playing a bit more hesitant, a bit more safely. But that's when Silk has a chance to reset and heal up, and they think, okay, we can start to chase them out now. Beat XL, and I mean, just watch Arome here and how much damage he does in return. This is showing how fed he is in this moment here when he dashes back, but it's just not quite enough to finish them off. Very nearly was, but Godsent managed to run away licking their wounds and will defend for now, but now just off camera, BTXL picked up the Baron, looking to re-push once more, but now with the Baron buff in tow.
It's been hopeful these last couple of plays for Godsent, but it is so far away. They're still not taking a single tower. XL are going to put themselves onto Soul Point, and with Zombie losing his life 45 seconds until he's going to come back up, this might just be it. They're looking to put a bit of damage into Avian. Avian does get chunked out pretty heavily. M-Test now doing a fair amount of damage.
3 items casting with a stopwatch. Level 16. You know, Silk's actually looking pretty strong now.
He is, but he doesn't have his top laner available for a while, but still gets himself knocked up, has to stopwatch the ultimate as he's going to jump away with the Rift Warp, but the snares connect, and that is going to be it. M-Test, he will fall. XL find the ace. It was way harder than they needed it to be at the end of this game, considering the gold lead, but XL find the win.
Definitely a little bit sloppy there from XL, but the Realm Walk to catch out Zombie forced Godsent to take fight that didn't really favor them. They needed to keep them away from their open Nexus, but the gold lead was still too big. It was a really strong early game from XL, absolutely, and that would have been a convincing win, but it just got really messy at the end. It didn't look as clean as we expected, and credit to Godsent, they really fought for that one, and unfortunately with that loss, they still have a chance to make it into playoffs, but the highest they can now finish is 4th in their group, and if they do lose that tiebreaker, they won't be going to playoffs at all, so yeah, definitely would have been nice for them to win that one, but they still put a lot into it.
I think the silver lining for Godsend is they can still make playoffs. It's now a much harder road to get there. There's only one spot available to them, but there is still a chance. But ultimately, XL are looking on fire coming into the playoffs, and
in 2 ways with the end of that game.
Yeah, it was some questionable plays there from XL, but I think ultimately maybe they're having a little bit of fun. I think they knew that they had that game in the bag. Anyway, we're going to throw to a break, and when we're back, we'll have our analyst desk break that game down a little bit more. So we'll see you in a second.
Let the sparks fly into a summer night. We're going eye to eye, running to the future blind. Running to the future blind.
sleep. We're going eye to eye, running to the future blind. Let the sparks fly into a summer night. We're going eye to eye, running to the future blind. Next to me, nothing really matters. My midnight sun, taking out the darkness, and it's only just begun. And it's only just begun. Running to the future blind.
There goes that passing light in the twilight before the dark hour. And this time I better get it right, 'cause maybe we're all passengers on the inside. I had something nice to say. I'm thinking of that blind that you are. I never wandered far. I never set my standards too low. And I never wandered far.
Welcome back with that win. XL get the 9-1 scoreline in the NLC. They're probably a little salty that they didn't manage to pick up the 10-0 across the entire season, but they're still looking like the strongest team realistically, given the way that they've cleanly executed all of these games. And speaking of clean execution, the mastermind behind it is here with me for an interview, so I'm going to bring Swiffer in. Hello, Swiffer.
Hello. How are
Hi,
you?
mate. It's the mastermind of the clean execution here.
Yes.
I want to talk to you a little bit about it because XL this season do look a lot more macro focused. They do look like they are taking less risks. They're trying to, I guess, do less skill check scenarios, I guess, in a way. Is that something that you've been kind of actively kind of working on with the team?
Kind of looking to incorporate jungle more so into almost every play that we're making in the early game and mid game as a team is something definitely that we spoke about towards the beginning of the year. As for mid game macro stuff, generally, I don't want to get too much into it, but basically, a lot of the concepts that we learned last year are the same. But I was also a lot newer at the role, and I think that over the past year, we've been able to further develop those ideas, and it doesn't hurt that we still have two players from last year as well who are pretty familiar with everything.
Yeah, of course. Also, obviously, you've got some new players in the roster. Do you think that this is a stronger version of XL? Do you think this might be the strongest version of the XL roster that we've had at the European Regional League level?
I hesitate to just wholeheartedly agree, just because of how dominant we were during the first split last year as well. But it does feel like that. It does feel like, especially on this patch right now, 11.3. It's only fair that we get to play 2 games on it, because I think that we've completely figured out the patch. And I think it kind of showed over this week of how dominant we were. over our 2 games.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, you're now looking towards playoffs and European Masters. I chatted with Fnatic a little bit about this. And, they still feel pretty confident that they're going to smash you in the finals and they're going to have no problems. I don't think it'll be quite that easy. Obviously, you guys are your eyes set on the top prize, but also the European Masters is kind of looming around the corner. You're obviously, with your scoreline through the NLC split, you're looking like a real favorite to take that spot. Have you been scrimming much against other European regional leagues, and kind of like, have you had many results from those scrims?
Yeah, we have. Just first on the first thing you said about Fnatic looking to smash us quite convincingly. I mean, they are a strong team. They've only gone from strength to strength this season, as you could kind of see from their game yesterday. So I think that's kind of indicative of how their season's looking to play out. And as for the ERL scrims that we've been playing over the past month or so, we're stacking up fairly well against the majority of teams, I would say, barring working on new concepts or new champion pools where we tend to kind of sometimes limit test maybe a bit too much. But for the most part, I think that we've got a pretty decent shot at EU Masters, and I think that, probably our best shot yet since joining the team.
I think you guys do. I mean, I'm going to wholeheartedly say I think this is the best XL roster I've ever seen in terms of this level. I think you've got some incredibly skilled players, and you're playing the best League of Legends I've seen XL play. Sometimes it definitely just felt like it was give Deadly every single resource possible and Deadly carries the game. And now it actually genuinely feels like you've got a Rome as an option. Marcoon is an absolute smurf. You've got Hatrix is always incredibly dependable too. So, I think that for me, this is the best roster I've seen XL field. And I think, this is probably the best shot that we've got for the UK to do well. Come on.
Well, no. Let's not write off Fnatic yet. Seriously, we don't want to go in as cocky as we did last year and then get reverse swept in the finals. That would be a pretty miserable experience to have happen again, to be honest. So yeah, I think we've got an insanely talented lineup. Like I think that everyone is performing really, really well. Even the 2 newer members or the rookie players have slotted in seamlessly into the team. So very, very impressed with how everyone's getting along, both in and outside of the game. Yeah.
Orcs, before I just let you go, Orcs did want me to add the caveat that clearly when he was on the team, it was the best XL roster they've ever had. So I just need to add that.
But that goes without question. So
of course.
We didn't even need to touch on it.
Exactly. An XL treasure, national treasure. Just one of the best esports exports the UK has ever had. Anyway, Swiffer, I'm going to let you go, mate. I'm excited to see how you guys do. And of course, we're not slandering Fnatic. They're still an incredibly good team. I think it's going to be a banger finals. If that is the finals that we end up getting, clearly lots to be done before the playoffs anyway. But obviously that's been the finals that we've generally tend to come to expect at this level. So we'll see how the playoffs play out. Good luck to you guys in the playoffs. And we'll see how it stacks up when we get there.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Oh, he's just a really nice chappy, actually. I like Swiffer. I've chatted to him a couple of times. He's a really nice guy. Okay, so I'm bringing in Professor Trouble for this, I believe. Really, it was kind of one super early.
It was one super early because of, let me think about it again. It might have been this guy right here. It might be. I don't know. We talked about him at the start. There's a slight difference here. So what he has done this game is that he's actually been able to steal the red buff where Graves is right now. He's sitting on 23 CS versus 16. And by the time this whole thing concludes and they start running it up top lane, you'll see that he still has his Gromp, which is taken right now, and Graves is clearing golems. So all great so far. Nidalee is 1 level above Graves. And remember, we talked about the fact that Indecision and Zombie want to attack Orome on the top lane to set him further behind. So what does Indecision do? He comes in for the gank. Guess who is here, my boy? It is Marcoon, 1 level above over Graves. Zombie super low, but just about to complete his form and go into Megana. But it doesn't matter because this guy has double buffs and he hurts a lot. He's also 1 level above, manages to hit the spear onto the Na. The first emotes are going down, doesn't miss the spear onto Indecision as well. This guy dies too. It's GG well played, 2 kills on double CS up. Oof. I I don't want to continue at this point. I think, 18 minutes into the game, he was 8-0?
Yeah.
Magi's, Harvester.
Brutal. Jamada, I do appreciate that I've let you say about collectively 0 words this entire little breakdown. I'll give you a bit more time. We've got to go to a quick break. And when we come back, it's all Jamada. Jamada has the whole show. It's just him, okay? Just him. We'll see you soon.